Hey, Tri-5 enthusiasts, welcome back to Classic Chevy Revival. I'm your host, Kevin, and today we're diving deep into the heart of automotive history, exploring the classic Chevy assembly process that defined an era. So join me as we unravel the stories of the assembly line pioneers who shaped the 1950s Chevy manufacturing landscape. From the early days of manual labor to the revolutionary evolution of Chevy production, we'll uncover the intricate details that birthed these timeless vehicles. So buckle up as we embark on a journey through the annals of automotive history and celebrate the enduring legacy of classic Chevy craftsmanship. So at the turn of the 20th century, personal vehicles were just starting to make their mark, thanks to breakthroughs in assembly line production models, and contrary to common belief, it wasn't Henry Ford who pioneered the assembly line. It was his rival, Ransom Olds, who patented this innovative production method. Olds Motor Vehicle Company, which was based in Detroit, was where it all began. Ransom Olds, the founder of Oldsmobile, kicked off Detroit's reign as the auto capital of the world in 1901. The Oldsmobile factory utilized an assembly line from the outset, achieving immediate success with 425 vehicles in its first year and 2,500 vehicles in the following year. Ransom Old took the production vision a step further, implementing a mass production model that changed the manufacturing landscape. The 1901 Oldsmobile Curved Dash, considered the first mass-produced vehicle in the U.S., it sold around 5,000 units by 1904. Despite Old's success, it was Henry Ford who revolutionized the automotive industry with his moving assembly line, which was inspired by a visit to a meatpacking plant. Henry Ford designed a similar assembly line at his Highland Park factory, and the first Model T rolled off the assembly line in 93 minutes on October 1st, 1908, drastically reducing production time. The Model T, composed of over 3,000 parts, was standardized in 1913, leading to a fast and organized production process. The moving assembly line, interchangeable parts, and specialized workers significantly lowered production costs, making the Model T affordable for everyone in the middle class. The year after the moving assembly line implementation, Ford outproduced all other automakers with over 308,000 cars in 1914 and 15 million Model Ts sold by 1927. The assembly line also brought unexpected benefits such as safer factories, a shorter work week, and improved working conditions. Ford introduced higher wages, a guaranteed pay of $5 per day, and improved working conditions, displaying a human touch in the industry. These changes not only improved morale, but also reduced turnover rates and made employment accessible to a broader demographic. So without visionaries like Evans, Olds, and Ford, the car production industry wouldn't be what it is today. Modern car production companies continue to innovate, shaping the future of our car production lines. So let's take a look back to 1955 and then General Motors assembly line. The bodies and interiors were done at the Fisher plants, and GM did final assemblies at their plant, and a lot of the Fisher and GM plants were located right next to each other or connected, but that wasn't always the case. So picture this, you're on the assembly line and all of a sudden red fenders arrive for blue bodies. So the crews had to think on their feet to keep things on track. Building cars in the 50s and 60s was no easy feat, but GM's massive machines played a crucial role in making the process less of a grind. In those golden years, multiple car models shared the same factory floor, so imagine the manual labor. No fancy lasers or computers, just skilled workers relying on a good eye and years of practice to ensure precision. Specialized jobs were the norm at the assembly plant, from assemblers assembling to welders welding. Each worker had a specific role, which contributed to the efficiency of the overall process. The assembly line brought the work to the workers, ensuring a seamless production flow. Engines were the heart of these classic Chevys, and GM dedicated entire plants to churn out thousands of engines. And before installation, each engine had to undergo a meticulous run and a tune process. Early production lines might seem crude by today's standard, but innovations were abound. With pits underneath the chassis line, this innovation streamlined the process, and also specialized tools. And like I said, the massive machines were employed to speed up the production. The transition from wheel dollies to suspended vehicles marked an evolution in assembly methods. Final inspection, a very critical step, ensured that every detail was in place before these Chevys hit the open road. Early car assembly plants were not for the faint of heart. Let's be honest, they were loud, dirty, and fairly dangerous places to work. And sometimes brute force and muscling of the parts were commonplace before automation took over. So now let's talk about a pivotal moment in Chevy history. On April 28, 1955, the Chevrolet division set an industry record by producing a staggering 7,902 cars and 2,178 trucks in a single day. To put that in perspective, if you parked those vehicles end to end, they'd stretch about 35 miles. This achievement required 33 million pounds of steel, 20,000 steel workers, and a whopping 650 tons of coal. It was this feat that showcased the incredible scale of Chevy's production capabilities. And the time to produce a vehicle, well, it's hard to say, but let's start when it hits the assembly line and is being put together. The chassis time in the plant is something like 45 minutes to an hour, and that means from when it first comes off the rack at the beginning of the line to rolling out under power at the other end. Total time in 1955, if you were to factor in the actual hours required to produce every part, which would include the steel manufacturing and stamping, wire manufacturing, glass manufacturing, paint, rubber, textiles, electronics, etc., and every sub-assembly that was being put together, it equals to nearly 500 man-hours per car. So there you have it, a brief journey through the intricacies of classic Chevy assembly. Also check out our website. We've added some new pages at ClassicChevyRevival.com, such as the 1955 to 57 Chevy Vehicle Identification Number Decoder and Trim Tag Decoder. Also the Tri-5 Chevy production numbers by date, plant, and ending vehicle identification number page. And finally, the small block Chevy engine block identification page. So until next time, I'm Kevin, and let's drive and revive. If you enjoyed this dive into history, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell for more classic Chevy Revival. Until next time.